So there's a lot you can do with a soda bottle as if it has a little hole in it. I don't know if you can see that hole right there in the reflection of the light. So how did I make that hole? So I got a nail. It's about a 1/4 inch diameter nail. I heated it up using a Bunsen burner while holding it with beaker tongs, of course, or whatever, or pliers. And then when it got hot enough, I just stuck it onto the plastic and it just melted right through the plastic and made a very nice little circular hole. It's very, very lovely. And so how do I use this to have students discuss continuity? Well, let's have a discussion of that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up, so I got to hold with my thumb. I'm going to fill this up here with some water. Notice I will not fill up above where the sides quit being straight. So I want basically a cylinder. I do not want the water above that cylinder piece, basically. Okay, so this ought to do it just fine. Okay. And now what am I going to have the students do? What they're going to do is they're just going to let the little cylinder just kind of pee. Yeah, they're going to laugh at it. They think that it's peeing. Okay, let's just get that out of your system, of course. So what I'm going to have them do is I'm going to have them do a couple of things. Number one, and this is all happening at the same time, find where the water lands and put a little cup there so you can measure 250 or however, whatever beaker. This beaker goes up to 250 milliliters. So measure 250 milliliters. Okay, good. Now they're going to hold a stopwatch and they're going to time how long it takes for the beaker to fill up with 250 milliliters. They're going to time that using a stopwatch. Now, while this is happening, they also need to be paying attention to the water level right here. Okay, stop. So they would stop the watch, and then they would use a meter stick and measure how much did the water level lower down. How much did the water level lower down? How far did the top of the water go during that time? Then, okay, so they have a distance that the water went and a time. They also have a volume here and a time. And the other thing I'm going to ask them to measure is I'm going to ask them to measure this height right here and this width right here. And the purpose of that is to do projectile motion. I can get this velocity if I use horizontal launch projectile motion techniques. Now, I'm going to do this outside. I'm doing this outside so that I don't have to worry about cleaning up messes. And we have a loading dock that I would have the kids shoot off of. And so they'd measure the height, they measure the length, and that's going to get me the speed there using projectile motion principles. I'm going to measure the time it takes to fill up my little beaker. In the same amount of time, how far did the water level drop? And then the other things that you might need to tell your students or have them measure is they need to measure the radius of the circular cross-section of the bottle. So you need to measure the radius of the bottle itself, measure the radius of the bottle itself, and measure the radius of the little hole. It might be up to you to figure out the radius of the little hole. You might need to figure that out for yourself and give it to the students. Like I said, mine was about 1/2 inch. No, a 1/4 inch was the size of the nail. All right, so how can we use this to show continuity principle? Let's see.